blast off. Meme. Leave the world behind. Review Texas abortion decision. Talking to IDF Dude, conscientious objector is so hard to write. IDF conscientious objectors about Israeli left with Noah Colwyn later and more. Get in now. Okay. Free speech hypocrisy. IDF Telegram channel talking to IDF conscientious objectors about Israeli left. New merch this week? Yes, my merch is coming out this week. If you happen to read this, what was the meat intestine thing that you loved eating in Turkey? Might try when I go around today. Bro talked about going around to Turkey like it's a fucking trip to the state over. Bro, my man said, might go around to Turkey today and try it out. It's called kokoreç, chatter. Okay? I can't believe you have a day trip planned to motherfucking Turkey. That's sick. Whatever we do, don't remind him to finish Jubilee. I don't think I'm going to finish that Jubilee. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just like, I realize I've spent the last 3 months at this point just repeating myself over and over again, as I feel like I am losing it a little bit every day. Chatter jumping in his PJ for a quick trip to Turkey. Quick trip to Turkey, yeah. Anyway, all right, here. Blast it off. Here is the fucking, here, I'll give you guys the trailer real quick while I go grab my coffees, because I forgot to set that up before I got started. But this is the show. This is Leave the World out of 10. American Parasite style, maybe even a Get Out style movie. Okay? Made by Sam Ismail, right? Isn't that the dude that did iRobot? It's casted incredibly. You got Ethan Hawke, Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, like just out of control. What was it? Mr. Robot or iRobot, whatever the fucking. Anyway, not Lemon Found Mr. Robot, not iRobot. I don't know, whichever one. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. Yeah, Mr. Robot. Did I say iRobot? Mr. Robot. I got it right. I thought I said Mr. Robot. Anyway, okay, shut the fuck up. Listen to me. Movie Heads rated a 6 out of 10. I did. That's my rating on it. Let me tell you why. Because it's thrilling. Okay, every aspect of it, like the pacing is pretty decent. In the beginning, maybe it's a little slow, but it gets into it and it sucks you into it, and you're fucking feeling the intensity. Okay, you're feeling the intensity through and through. I'm gonna talk about the good things first. Incredible cast, cinematography on point. Okay. The utilization of spacing, camera angles to really take normal, otherwise banal, boring sequences and turn them into, especially with the soundtrack, especially with the score, turn them into genuinely scary, genuinely thrilling moments. Fucking awesome. Okay? All of that stuff is great. All of that stuff is great. However, having said that, and an incredible cast too. I mean, come on, you got Julia Roberts, you got Ethan Hawke, you got Mahershala Ali. It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be. It's got so many moments. It's also like end of time shit. I'm always on it. Kevin Bacon. Okay. It's end of time stuff. It's like tech dystopia. Our hyper reliance on electronic goods is inevitably going to destroy us. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. But then here's the big but. It fails in places where it's supposed to thrive. All of the good stuff needed to be amplified. Okay? Last sequence, incredibly bad. And I don't mean because, oh, there's like, they leave it off on a cliffhanger style situation. No, that's not it. Okay, this is spoiler free. I'm not even going to give you anything. It's not a spoiler. I don't care about all of that stuff. I don't care about the ending or whatever. I don't care. I do, however, care that they basically took the final chapter in the final chapter in this movie and slammed it. Okay? They just did this. They took like the pacing in the entire movie, which is a long movie. It's like 2 hours. I think it was 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then slammed the last chapter with like the most density you've ever seen. The pacing just falls apart. It's just so fucking bad. And if it's a 2 hour and 30-minute movie, you should do better than that. There's plenty of parts that there's plenty of parts where you could cut from the middle. There's plenty of parts you could cut in the first sequences when you're establishing the setup. Instead of making the last sequence a recap, basically, a wrap-up. It just felt like it was so incredibly rushed. That was one issue that I had. Another issue that I had, and I didn't really watch all of Mr. Robot, so I don't know how like Sam Ismail operates. Okay. But the politics of it is like a child's brain. Like, I'm sure liberals will eat this shit up and be like, oh my God, it's so real, it's so true. But like, the overarching theme is good, but the politics baked into it is so elementary. It's so stupid. What you see is what you get. Someone said in the chat, service level. It's exactly right. It's just so idiotic, like a kid wrote it. Like, there's a moment where, let me tell you, I'll give you a little bit of background on what's going on in the movie, first and foremost, okay? Here, let's pull up the Wikipedia so I can not fuck the names up and have everybody make fun of me in that process. So, Leave the World Behind is a 2023 Netflix production, an apocalyptic psychological thriller, okay? Written and directed by Sam Ismail. It's based on the 2020 novel of the same name by Ruman Alam. I don't know about the novel. I didn't know about this fucking movie at all. It came out of nowhere. And then I saw that like Barack Obama was like, giving notes or something on how the movie was made. So I was like, I have to watch this shit. Because like Bardock No Bummer, if Barack Hussein Obama is involved in it, like I gotta see it. I gotta see what he had to say. I gotta see what he did. And the film has Julia Roberts in it, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, Kevin Bacon. Okay, it's pretty stacked. It's stacked to the gills, especially for like a millennial. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I know all of these people. These people are incredible actors. And they are attempting to make sense of the gradual breakdown of phones, television, and other regularly used technology, which points to a potential cataclysm, right? Ooh, our over-reliance on tech is going to destroy us. That's like the whole point, which is fine. I mean, it's a good concept. It's a fine concept to tackle. Okay. However, one shining aspect of a movie is the short shot composition, never a boring shot, reverse shot. Yeah, no, the cinematography was out of control. I loved it. It was like probably the best part of the entire thing. The score is great. Cinematography is great. The shots are great. There's a lot of intention and a lot of intensity through and through. It keeps you uncomfortable for the majority of the fucking movie. You're like, you feel it. You feel the intensity, and I think that's a good thing. Okay, I think that's a good thing. That's props for that. And I like the overarching theme of like technology bad because over reliance will lead to our downfall. All that stuff's fine. However, having said that, the notion that like this family of like elitist libs, okay, they're like college professors and shit, go on a weekend journey to get away from it all, okay? That's how it starts. It opens up with a sequence where like The kids are like on their phones. One of them's playing Call of Duty on his phone. The other one, not even a Steam Deck, which, you know, obviously big L there. Fucking who plays Call of Duty on their phone? It's ridiculous. The little daughter is like kind of weird, creepy. She loves Friends. She's watching Friends. I don't know why the fuck she's watching Friends, but, you know, all the shit. Okay, they're supposed to be away from their computer, but they're, you know, too much on the phone, even while they're supposed to be going on a little vacay time. Okay, little vacay time. Look at us, and then they get to this beautiful house in Long Island, and you know they're starting their weekend getaway, and then everything falls apart. Everything falls apart. They're at the beach. All of a sudden, an oil tanker is directly coming at them, full speed. Little girl notices it. They're like, what the fuck's going on? They run away. Chaos. Bedlam. Why did this happen? Who knows? Okay? Why did this happen? Who knows? Anyway, let's get back to the house. They get back to the house later that night. Mahershala Ali and his daughter arrive. Julia Roberts, immediately liberal racist, okay? Immediately white woman mode. But, like, definitely they ham it up way too much. Like, a lot of the stuff is not subtle at all. It's, like, very much on the nose. Like, she doesn't just, like, show that she's uncomfortable with this black man. Very well-dressed, very dapper. But, like, she doesn't demonstrate that she's uncomfortable. But, like, immediately is like, oh, yeah? This is not your house. This house is basically too rich for your blood, you know, that type of shit. And it's just like, okay, like you didn't have to. There's better ways of writing like liberal racism, you know what I mean? It's so over the top. Yeah, someone said it's like a Darman movie almost. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But yeah, sources say that Julia Roberts wasn't acting. Anyway, so that stuff is whatever. That stuff is kind of silly. But then the politics of it all. Mahershala Ali is like a you know, hedge fund guy. Okay, he's a hedge fund manager, and he keeps talking about like his job as though he's like a fucking secret agent. Like, it's like, I'm a hedge fund manager and I deal with a lot of high profile clients, and you know, some of them are in the defense industry, so they tell me a lot of stuff. And one of the things that they told me was really scary. And it's like, really, dude? Like, that's, like, you're just a fucking money guy. What do you mean? They make it seem like he has, like, the insight into what's happening in the world because of some of his clients. Okay? Like, I did not like the politics of it all. I did not like that they were trying to do, like, a Havana syndrome mention in the end of it too, where like the point is, oh, he noticed patterns, he realized some shit was popping off, and it's a full-scale attack. The satellites are not working. It's a terror attack that is happening by targeting the American infrastructure, the American grid, and our hyper-reliance on technology. And in that process, there, you know, a lot of scary shit's going on, okay? A lot of scary shit's going on. Animal migration patterns are changing, stuff like that. But overall, like the politics of it were so on the nose, so elementary, so fucking like what you see is what you get, that it blew my mind. Okay? There's one point where Mahershala Ali's character straight up says, I was really scared when he told me, my defense contractor, like client, he's my biggest client, when he told me that this was the scariest weapon he had ever seen. This 3-pronged attack. Prong number 1, you target the electronics. And the second prong of the attack is that once the electronics are tackled, you create mass confusion and chaos by spreading misinformation. And then the last prong is civil war. And it's like, first of all, you just leap to that. And secondly, that's not even a weapon. What you're describing is like the most cost-effective way of destabilizing a nation. Like, the only thing that didn't happen was if he just, like, turned around and looked at the camera, panned to the camera, broke the fourth wall, and was like, this only happens in countries where there's already so much civil disorder and civil unrest, race riots and civil war, just like America. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's so stupid. Like, why? What? That's not even a weapon. Spoilers, but isn't it a false flag pinned on Hamas and Cuba? Basically, I think they pin it on Cuba, Koreans, China. All of our enemies are basically getting together to attack us or whatever. They just kind of leave that out. They never tell you. They never really tell you who is responsible for it. Wait until Hasanabi finds out that the novel came out during COVID. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So ultimately, there's a lot of parts that just like they don't really address, like the deer, the animal migration patterns I get, but then like the deer, that doesn't make too much sense at all. Like the deer just keep rolling up on people, and that shit was like weird. The noise is supposed to be the Havana syndrome weapon. So overall, like I said, it had the opportunity to be great, I think, right? But then, you know, it wasn't. Like that's it. It had the opportunity to be great, and then it wasn't. Could have been, but it wasn't. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Just like Obama, exactly. It is just like Obama. Had the opportunity to be great, but it wasn't. They tried to do like a Get Out, I guess, like Obama's very own Get Out or Sam Ismail's own Get Out, and then it wasn't. It just fell short. My tweet on it was, watch Leave the World Behind, and honestly, the entire movie leaves much to be desired. Loved the intensity, but the characters were so one note. Like, how do you get some of these incredible actors and then the characters suck dog shit? Like, it's the most what you see is what you get ass characters I've ever seen. They're so incredibly one note. Specifically, Mahershala Ali, like, he made me so angry. The way he reacted to things and the way he communicated with everyone made me so mad. I was like, bro, no human being would ever react this way. Okay? No human being would react this way in this circumstance. Okay? Mahershala Ali behaved in a maddening fashion. The politics of it are all elementary. Final act was rushed. 6 out of 10. That's how I think. Tesla scene was probably one of the only good scenes, one of the only funny scenes, because it also made Elon Musk very mad, where he said Teslas can charge from solar panels even if the world goes fully Mad Max and there's no more gasoline. And it's like, bitch, watch the movie. It has nothing to do with the solar panels. And everything to do with, like, you literally could have just watched the fucking 2-minute sequence and you would have figured out that it has nothing to do with it being an EV and everything to do with full self-driving capabilities. I saw the flyers from the drone written in Arabic, and all I could think of was bad timing, bro. But, of course, as is the case with all shitty movies, out of the Tesla pileup, and you got a better view of the New York City skyline than you get in Brooklyn from rural Long Island, not even close, dog. I mean, yeah, what part of Long Island are they in that they can just, like, also simultaneously see directly into New York City? Anyway. I mean, they could have just, like, lit the Teslas on fire because, like, honestly, they should have lit the Teslas on fire because, you know, that's what really would have happened. They love blowing up. If anything, it's an ad for just one more fucking lane. Please, dog. Please, one more lane. Elon's tunnel be like. Just imagine how bad the Hyperloop is looking. Yeah. Overall, these are, you know, it's just like fully self-driving. Like, they activate on its own, and then they cause a massive pileup. But that's what they're showing here. As a rush hour in Newark, yeah. So, FSD fucking sucking dick. Yeah. Like I said, it's just silly. It could have been better, for sure. 6 out of 10. But I'll tell you this much: it feels good. Like it's a thrilling experience. Like it definitely sucked me in the entire time, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. You know. Great blast on him. Or your girl is loyal. Put her in a room with him. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Put her in a room with him and watch him serve a top of the hour ad break. Your girl's not your girl after that. You know what I mean? She belongs to the streets. Okay? She's subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. She's using your Amazon Prime account, connecting it with her Twitch account to get 1 free Prime subscription a month to use on her now favorite broadcaster, Hasanabi Piker, to avoid the top of the hour ad breaks. Why do you think we have a collective craving for apocalypse, post-apocalyptic conditions? I don't know. It's maybe it's a way to cope with like the current way of existence, which sucks. Okay? Like it's basically closure. It gives you a way to imagine the end of the world. It gives you some level of closure. You experience the world. You recognize that it kind of sucks and it's like kind of dog shit. You have all of these. You have all this volatility, and as Mark Fisher used to say, it's easier to imagine the end of the world than imagine an end to capitalism. So it gives you a sense of closure when you watch stuff like that, where it's like, oh, this is how it's gonna end. That's what's going on. Yeah, catharsis. Also, yeah, I mean, this chatter is correct. Apocalyptic stories are almost as old as stories themselves. Societies have been dreaming about their end since they were societies. That certainly is plays a role too. It's like the most basic thing is imagining the end of the world. Here's what happened to this one guy.
Isn't that kind of wicked, G? What?
And they're dolching about a Razor collab chair.
My brother-in-law built it yesterday with my dad.
And blew it up. Let me tell you, didn't build it good. Not solid build quality, I'll tell you that much. I love that he has the same chair that I do, by the way, and then he also has the DG chair that he got. Yeah, Marat better. What you're supposed to do in that situation is get. What you're supposed to do in that situation is basically get a space rocket spaceship engineer, you know? You're supposed to get a guy like that to build your fucking chair. And then it won't break, hopefully. Fingers crossed. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. Kamala might as well guest host SNL with this. What the fuck? I'll take a look at it in a second. But yeah, let's get started. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to talk about Rishi Sunak. Right? Fucking hell. Where is it? Can monarchs commit? Dude, there's so many good videos on the docket for reacts. Jesus Christ, dude. Bill Maher goes scorched earth. This is not a war against Hamas. That's not a good video on reacts. There's another thing that I wanted to watch. People, Eamon, are wondering your stance on celebrating Christmas?
Does Hasan celebrate Christmas? I'm serious.
Yeah?
Wait, is his family not Muslim?
Oh.
Yeah,
we don't actually, but I love Christmas. I don't have a problem with it. It's fucking dope.
Wait, am I crazy? If you're Muslim, you probably wouldn't take Christmas that serious.
He doesn't.
But I had a Hindu friend. in elementary school, and his family still did Christmas gifts, which I always thought was funny. But fuck it. I don't know. Maybe it was just. I don't know.
He's a bad Muslim.
Yeah, but he's also not a good Christian, you know?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's evaluate Hasan's religious. Never mind.
I think last year the Christmas play was Christmas Carol, and I think it might have made him want to celebrate Christmas.
Wasn't he Scrooge?
Yeah.
Oh, but Scrooge learns his lesson.
Yeah.
True.
He learned, and now he's.
We don't celebrate Christmas in Turkey. Obviously, it's a Muslim country, but we do like rip from all the capitalist traditions of Christmas, of like gift giving, and we do it on New Year's. So basically, like in Turkey, people will get like a Christmas tree, right? Like a lot of families will get a Christmas tree, and then they'll only celebrate like it's basically the same as Christmas, but like 5 or 6 days later. So that's it. Like it's just not on the 25th of December. It's just like the last day of the year, and you celebrate New Year's pretty similarly to Christmas. The capitalist superstructure of Christmas permeates Islam. It's also awesome. Like, I love that shit. Who doesn't love gifts? Especially when you're a kid.
Table.
Why the fuck wouldn't you want to do that?
He's filled with the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. So I think I saved Hasan. I think I converted him to Mormonism.
And that's all it took. To Mormonism?
Yeah. We believe in Christmas. Mormons.
Yeah, technically I'm more of a fucking oh my science ass Andy than all the r/atheists out there due to my principled stance of not celebrating Christmas for like most of my life.
What table? Wait, so you'd be with Ludwig. Who else is at that table? Wait, you're just with Hasan and Austin. You're with your crew.
Yeah, but I don't fit in. If Ludwig were to break up with me, they'd stop hanging out with me.
What? There's something. Oh my God. He is so mentally ill. That is hilarious that she said that. First of all, we never even see Ludwig.
No. If Fearan had to pick a side, imagine. Austin picked.
We would pick you. What the
you
fuck?
For sure. Austin picks you.
That's not true. If he needed Ludwig
Will
on Lover
picks
Host,
you.
I'm on. Ludwig and I break up. Austin calls him and he's like, Ludwig, a Lover Host, wouldn't it be amazing?
The idea of giving out presents for free is so alien to the Western mind that they had to steal the idea from the Ottoman Empire. That's an insane thing to think. We 100% hang out with Cutie way more than we hang out with Ludwig, and she's out of her fucking mind. Like, the hell? We have a better podcast in the yard, dog. Figure it out. Unhinged ass. Cutie is being sexist. That's why. Internalized sexism. Christmas is largely commercialized these days. There's nothing essentially religious about celebrating Christmas. Yeah, which is awesome. Americans take every like holiday and turn it into hyper-capitalist commodity consumption day, and I fuck with that heavy. I think it's awesome. I'm a fan. I don't know how else I can describe it. I think consumerism is a pretty effective way of controlling the masses, bread and circuses style. Okay? And I think that America does a pretty good job at it. They do a pretty good goddamn job at it. Okay? And it's fun, and it makes people participate. Makes people want to participate, you know? Y'all stood by her when she says she took her shit out of a toilet bowl. Fuck is she on about? Exactly. Is insanity talking. Anyway. How do you feel about Valentine's Day? I guess that's fine too. That's the only one that I don't like as much. That one is so on the nose. If you call Cutie, do you think she would answer like you did when she called you? I mean, I also didn't. Is a socialist rumor selling me the idea of consumerist Christmas right now? I don't know if you guys have ever listened to me talk. It seems very odd. I know my haters always talk about like how socialism means you have to live an ascetic lifestyle. You have to live in like Spartan ways. You have to fucking be poor. You have to be broke. You have to fucking shun consumerism in general. I'm not one of those motherfuckers. I've never been a poverty cult guy. I've never been a poverty cult guy ever. And even when I was a broke boy, I wasn't a fucking poverty cult guy, you know? Which is why motherfuckers always say like, Hasan claims to be socialist Jesus, revolutionary Maoist figurehead, owns a fucking mega mansion. And it's like, yeah, no, I never said that you can't do that. There's being in a poverty cult and there's glorifying hyperconsumption. Yeah, treats make me feel good. And it makes you feel good too. Every single person in this chat consumes treats of a certain variety that are procured in an incredibly unethical manner. And then they fucking sit around and go, no, that type of treat is not my shit. This type of treat, on the other hand, is. The greatest example I can give you is the people who are like socialist K-pop fans, right? Like, there are socialist K-pop stands out there. They love K-pop. They love consuming K-pop. But then they'll come in and be like, NFL, really fucked up. Reality television, really fucked up. And I'm like, okay, well, you love K-pop. How do you think they make it? You know? How do you think the sausage is made? I can't take this call out. I mean, it's not. The point is, you are not supposed to look at this with unrealistic perspectives. That you are not supposed to look at this situation with like hyper unrealistic expectations that you yourself don't abide by. You know what I mean? Some leftists are unironically the biggest capitalism defenders, thinking we can't have nice things without exploitation. They can't see any other world where things can be made humanely. Yeah. It's just dumb. And it unironically, in my opinion, devolves into liberalism because looking at that shit from the framework of like what you're consuming, what the output is, and not what the input is, and production is liberalism. Sheer liberalism. Pure liberalism. Dude, people are going to call you a hypocrite or a LARPer for claiming socialism no matter who you are. I have a chronic disease and I have two chronic diseases and physical disability while living in Section 8 housing in Detroit, and I still get called a LARPer because I think healthcare should be free for all. You can't win, brother. Well, that's selfish. You have a selfish interest because you got fucking diseases. So that you're selfishly advocating for healthcare for yourself and everybody else. It's really fucked up. See? You can't win. You can't win. Because the point isn't to convincing the majority to be hypercritical of every consumption choice is such a non-starter. Yeah, it's just, it's not realistic. Nobody does it. And nobody should do it either. It's not even necessarily about like your consumption choices. It's about how the commodities are produced. That's the problem. Elliot, it's me. M. Hunt, I feel sorry for you. Why do you mod or watch this idiot? Lol. He said because he's hot. Thank you, Elliot. Elliot, you're gonna tell a man I've known for what, like 5 years at this point, that he's wrong for what he's doing. You're gonna save him. You're gonna save him. You're gonna save the entire Hudson family from the throes, from the hypnosis that I have subjected the entire Hudson family to. All 26 Hudsons on notice. It's like, may Allah save Israel. No, what was it? May Allah save the world from the hypnosis Israel has placed upon it. I regret typing on my keyboard. What? I don't even understand. May Allah awaken the people. The Hudson family will no longer be watching The Hasanabi broadcast. Yeah. Did chat pressure you into changing your t-shirt? I mean, I had this underneath. This is the common Hasan haters life goal. I keep seeing motherfuckers like under your YouTube vids trying to save us from you. I know. It's like, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I guess like it'd be easier if I had advertisers so they could just like directly target them. But because I don't have that, they have to go after my friendships and then my fans by being like, let me save you from the cult of Hasanabi. Very infantilizing. My friend does that and it's wild. I've had so many interactions with it, just like do outright lies. To be fair, if you don't know who the fuck I am and if you only know me on the edges, if you've only seen like videos of mine every now and then, and someone comes up to you and they're like, this guy that you're watching is like a pedophile rapist who like enslaves his family and enslaves his editors and like has done all this insane shit. Like he steals money from his fans and he like bought a fucking chateau. And the only thing that you know me from is literally like a watermelon crushing TikTok and some fucking coverage. Maybe in 2020, the last time you watch, you could be like, oh my God, this is literally the worst person on the planet. Yeah, he invaded he invaded Ukraine. That's what he did. He invaded Ukraine with the chateau money that he fucking funneled from his fandom. You know what I mean? For real, DM me if you need help. Like this guy, he's going to save you guys all, okay? So infantilizing to think that like people in here are completely oblivious and have no way of thinking. Anyway. How would you suggest others get into you? Like my little bro has seen those dumb clips or being lied to by others. I don't know. Just show him like whatever coverage you think he cares about and my analysis on it. Everyone's got one thing. Everyone's got one thing that they care about that I've definitely covered. Right? And if they see my coverage on it, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, show a YouTube video on whatever the issues that they care about is. Whether it's healthcare, whether it's like police brutality. And most likely they're going to be like, okay, he makes a lot of sense here. It's not the way I thought he was at all. I heard that my high school friends don't like you because of orbiters. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's it. You can talk to people in the real world. You can talk to people in the real world that, what is this? Twitch user voice. How can we improve videos? Watch full video button when watching a clip on the pop-out player. Why can't we go straight to the full video, perhaps with a small button next to the other ones in the bottom of the player? Personally, I use it a lot when I see a good clip and I want some extra content. Yeah, this way you can actually get like the additional context of a clip as well. Anyway. You're in Sims 4 now? Yeah, I saw the Kendall Sims 4 thread. Oh my God, new Zionist lore unlock. What is this? I need y'all to read this thread. If you really care about Jewish folks, then you need to sit your Gentile ass down and read about where the Jews can actually be safe. Yeah, I mean, we can start with that one. Let's get started on that. Joe Brandon has a Hanukkah celebration at the White House last night. And in his Hanukkah celebration at the White House last night, he pops the fuck off. Something that he said before, by the way. It's not even like a new thing. He's literally been like, I love Israel. I'm a Zionist. If Israel didn't exist, I would make an Israel. You know, it's the greatest money best spent, you know, all this shit. He's done it before. There is one thing that I think is really funny, however. before we get into his comments here, even before the comments here, he had this Netanyahu moment, which I personally love.
House is hosted. This is
Apparently,
a Hanukkah reception.
The American families of Israeli hostages held captive in Gaza asked the White House for an invitation to the Hanukkah celebration. And the Joe Brandon White House just pulled up, nah, we're good.
That the White House is hosting tonight to celebrate the 5th night of Hanukkah, hosted by the president and the first lady. And what one of the family members of the families that have their family members that are missing in Gaza, still believed to have been abducted by Hamas on October 7th, they told me that they had reached out to the White House because several of the families were in town this week, had asked for an invitation to this event, but that they ultimately did not get invited. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. Look, these are family members.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. This is like straight out of the Netanyahu textbook right here. He hit him with the, nah, fam, you're good.
That are desperately trying to bring attention.
Not trying to hear your bullshit, okay? That's what he said.
To the fact that there are still 8 dual American citizens that are still missing, that are still unaccounted for. Obviously, the formal negotiations to get more hostages out, we saw those break down earlier this.
He said, I like my hostages that weren't captured.
So there are a lot of questions right now, and these families are very desperate for any kind of news, any kind of movement that they are seeing from the White House as well as the Israeli government on how their family members are going to get out, Jake.
We know that people at the White House watch this show. If they have any questions, reach out to us, and we'll involve MJ.
Yeah, straight up. My man was like, nah, big dog, we're good. We're good, actually. We're good on that, actually. Trust me, dude. You're gonna harsh the vibes. Like, it's not feeling Hanukkah to me. You know what I mean? It's not really giving me Hanukkah vibes if you're there talking about fucking maybe even like a ceasefire to like make sure that there is an end to the war, and then we have to like get the hostages out, that kind of thing. We can't do that. We don't want that. We don't want that. We already gave you a little bit of ceasefire, a little baby bit ceasefire. Anyway, so of course, after hitting the hostage families with the Hua Megalol, Brandon turned around and said this at the Hanukkah party.
I got in trouble, got criticized very badly by the southern part of my state and some of the southern parts of the country when 35 years ago I said, you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist, and I'm a Zionist. I also recognize your hurt from the silence and the fear, and for your safety, because the surge of anti-Semitism in the United States of America and around the world is sickening. You know, we see it across our communities in schools and colleges and social media. Silence is complicity. As I said after the attack, my commitment to the safety of the Jewish people and the security of Israel and its right to exist is independent, as an independent Jewish state is unshakable.
Now to the war between.
Anyway, so he also had this to say at the Hanukkah celebration. He said, "Where there were no Israel, Jack, there wouldn't be a Jew in the world that's safe." He said at the White House Hanukkah party as he reaffirms his support for Israel against his war on Hamas. Now, what I find particularly strange about that is that, like, until recently, America was the country with the largest population of Jewish people in it. Okay? There are 6.9 million Jews in Israel. There are 6.3 million Jews in the United States of America. So if you are literally the president of a country that has 6.3 million Jews in it, what the fuck do you mean? You're like, Israel's the only place that keeps Jews safe. Dog, you're supposed to keep the Jews safe. Is that a threat? Like, what kind of take is this? To which I responded, a wild thing to say as the president of the United States of America, which is definitely a part of the world and has a Jewish population of 6.3 million. Okay? Which is nutty. It's a crazy thing to say. No, brother. We are supposed to defend our Jewish brothers and sisters, okay? This notion that the only way Jews can feel safe around the world is if they have an ethno-state that is committing atrocities and doing genocide by falsely claiming Judaism, okay? That's not correct. is also ridiculous. Imagine, like, think about it this way. Okay, think about it this way. 6.3 million Jews in America, right? Do you think Jewish people are more safe in the United States of America, despite the fact that a severe increase in hate crimes has occurred? Okay, definitely. Definitely. Okay? Despite the fact that there's been an increase in anti-Semitic incidents, do you think Jews are safer in New York or they're safer in fucking Tel Aviv? Where do you think Jews are safer? Because I think Jews are definitely safer in America than they are in Israel. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, I think it's insane. You're going to lose your mind at this, but CNN reporter trying to find a clip. The Jewish leader said Biden saying this was the best support a president ever gave to our people. I hate everyone. Yeah. Like, it's so odd. It's so odd to fucking say this, especially when, like, Israel's actions and the way that Israel pairs up its actions falsely with Judaism unironically make Jews all around the world less safe. Because not everyone is going to look at this and go, yeah, I know that, like, Israel is saying that they're doing this for, doing this ethnic cleansing for Jews, but that obviously is just propaganda. That's bullshit. People living in other countries of the world are not going to look at it like that. They're going to look at it and go, okay, what the fuck are they doing? They keep saying they're doing this for Judaism. It's inherently anti-Semitic. So it blows my mind, especially so. Like, I have no expectation from Jewish people that I encounter, okay, to immediately denounce the state of Israel's actions. Like, that would be ridiculous. I don't walk up to Jewish people and go, do you love Israel or do you hate it? Like, I'm not, that would be anti-Semitic. Having said that, however, I don't understand how you would literally turn around and be like, no, I ride for this. Like, I fucking ride for this, okay? Not in my name? Fuck no. Yes, in my name. Like, that's a ridiculous thing to say. It's like if Muslims in the Western world were being like, ISIS? Oh my God, I love them. My favorite, dude. Talk to me more about Salafists. I fucking love that shit, okay? Give me more of that, okay? As a Muslim, big fan. You know what I mean? Just like cheering it on and shit and being like, no, the Islamic Caliphate is pog, dude. Can't wait to fucking assemble it. ISIS more like Mises, am I right? Exactly. Exactly, chatter. It'd be like that. Be like Saudi Arabia doing genocide in Yemen. They're doing it there, but they're doing it for me. They're doing it here. They're doing it in my heart. Very odd thing. Very fucking odd thing to just like ride for. Okay? Inherently reactionary, incredibly stupid, doesn't make fucking any sense whatsoever. Doesn't make sense from a humanity perspective, doesn't make sense from a morality perspective. It's just pure reactionary propaganda, unfiltered. Okay? Unfiltered. According to Sam Harris, that's exactly what pro-Palestine Muslims are saying. Yeah, Sam Harris is a charlatan who just fucking hates Muslims. We know that already. He's an Islamophobic piece of shit. Anyway, then he took a tougher stance on Israel's indiscriminate bombing of Gaza, which fucking bullshit. Okay? He literally took a stance because he's warning Israel that they're losing international support. That's the major problem. Not what they're doing is like personally, morally reprehensible. There is no cruelty that Israel could subject the Palestinians to that Brandon would think is unacceptable from the perspective of morality. He don't have a problem with ethnic cleansing. He does not have a problem with genocide. What he has a problem with is, and he's right on this, that genocide's making Israel look bad, making it real hard to support Israel unconditionally. Okay? It's destabilizing the region. Israel's security can rest on the United States, but right now, it has more than the United States. It has the European Union. It has Europe. It has most of the world supporting them, which is not true, by the way. No, it doesn't. Israel does not have most of the world supporting them. Israel only has America supporting them, okay? Some of the European countries too, but overall, what matters is America's support. That's it. He will have a problem with the genocide in 5 months or so when he realizes he's 15% down on Trump nationally. He is desperately trying to cling on to the educated white demographic. That's what he's going for, which is ridiculous because all of the other demographics that historically have pushed the Democratic Party over the line, like the youth vote, okay, like votes from the Latino population, votes from the black population, they are leaving the party. They're leaving the party in droves. They're either not participating or in some instances they're going to fucking vote for the Republican Party, which is insane. And for the record, no, Israel does not have the support of the entire world. It's like such an objectively and incredibly Western-focused, Western-centric narrative here. They don't even have the fucking entire population in America. They do not have the backing of the entire nation, okay? It's at best 50-50, which is like one of the lowest it's ever reached, okay? But also on top of that, there's a major generational divide, which is freaking people out. And not only that, but also it's just the leadership. There is a genuine mismatch within what the leadership is doing for their Israeli support and how far they will go and what the public thinks about it. And the media can't keep up with the propaganda. It's fucking ridiculous. The president said that he thought Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu understood, but he wasn't so sure about the Israeli war cabinet. Israeli forces were carrying out punishing strikes across Gaza, crushing Palestinians in homes as the military presses ahead with an offensive that officials could say could go on for weeks or months. Which countries recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization? Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's fucking Europe, America's allies, Japan, Australia, EU countries, UK, Canada, and then the rest of it, the rest of the world, which is objectively a much larger chunk of the fucking population, does not. And the irony, of course, is that when they are fucking talking about this, there's no good designation. There's no good way to talk about this issue. Okay? There's no good way to talk about this issue. It's so fucking ridiculous. They literally just go, do you support Hamas or do you support Israel? Like, they are the ones in the Western world, in their ridiculous polling, that unironically turned this issue into one that is Israel versus Hamas, negatively polarizing people against Israel. Hello? The fuck are you doing? Anyway, I think even the Japanese designation has changed as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Japan has been unequivocally condemning them as terror attacks. Additionally, Japan has designated Hamas as a subject to Japan's asset freezing for terrorists and others, among other measures under the cabinet approval September 30th, 2003. Yeah, no, this is Japan still views Hamas as a terrorist organization. So yes, they do. Which makes sense. We wrote their constitution, guys. Okay? We wrote their fucking constitution. So ultimately, what's really frustrating to me is that, like, New York Times is doing a decent job below the fold on its coverage of what is happening, the atrocities and what's going on in Gaza, okay, which is like major news. That's fucking major news, okay? This should be above the fold every time. And yet, instead, to be fair, isn't Hamas a terrorist organization? Every country and every militancy is technically a terrorist organization because they target civilians deliberately. What you have to look at is whether they are engaging in acts of terror or whether they are not engaging acts of terror. Hamas right now, as it operates within the Gaza Strip, is not doing acts of terror. Hamas, as it operates within the Gaza Strip, is actually a defensive force against the terrorist organization of the Israeli occupying force. They have a legal right and a responsibility to defend themselves. Okay? Under international law, October 7 is an operation that could be classified as a terrorist, an act of terror. Okay? October 7 is an act of terror. Since October 7, every fucking week after week of Hamas defending the Gaza Strip from the belligerent occupier is not an act of terror. Straight up. That is, unironically, Israel does not have a right to defend itself against the Gaza Strip. Okay, Israel does have a right to defend itself on October 7 against a military operation within its boundaries. Israel does not have a right to defend itself by blowing up Gaza. They don't. Wait, before you ban that guy, he said Hamas, Hasan right now actively defending. What did he say? What did he say? I fucking missed it. God damn it. He's annoying as hell. It's fine. Missed it. The pip nub. Hasan, where do you see your channel heading in 2024? America Bad Re. I mean, if your first interaction today is just where do you see your channel heading? Like when you're looking at ongoing genocide coverage and your first thing is like, what does this do for your own personal branding? You're not a serious person, okay? You're just in it for the drama. Anyway, then you turned around and you said, Hasan, do you actually think Hamas means Jews in America are not safe? He's stating the Jews have a right to stay, bro. At least reply to his actual belief. Then you said, hey, Hasan is China committing genocide. Then you said, I'm sorry you don't like my question. My questions are intended to highlight the hypocrisy in the statements, but okay, bro. Then you said Hasan is literally right now justifying Hamas not being actively a terrorist organization. Okay, let me explain something to you. Terrorism, and this is a consistent belief that I have. It's not even a belief. It's just a factually accurate statement. Terrorism is a political designation to deny habeas corpus to and deny due process to those who we have declared foreign adversaries that are not a part of a standing military, okay? And a recognized nation state. That's it. The entire point of the terrorism designation is so that you could just go, oh, they're terrorists. That's it. Don't touch that. Don't touch that at all. There's no civil governance. All that civil governance is done in the at the behest of terrorism. Everything that they're doing is actually to advance terrorism. All this is a belligerent terrorist force that is only interested in just like death and destruction. This is done specifically to stop you from unironically looking at whether or not there are rational decisions being conducted. If you don't want to think about it as one party of a conflict being rational actors, you can. You can dull yourself, but it is an intellectually dishonest and morally incurious stance to take. You can get mad at me by pointing at it and going, but see, he did it all day, every day. Okay? You can literally engage in this like intellectually disingenuous argumentation. You can do that. Many people do. Piers Morgan does it almost daily on his broadcast. Okay? But that is not the end all be all. You cannot actually come up with a reasonable solution if that's where your conversation starts and ends. Okay? The entire purpose of this designation is to say, look, see, they are governed by a terrorist organization, which means that there's no way we can do diplomacy with them. And then no one actually goes, wait, but they are doing diplomacy with them. There have been ceasefire negotiations in the past, and they just did a hostage release. So if these guys are irrational, rapist, barbarian monsters, then why the fuck didn't they actually engage in the acts of terror to the Israeli population that they said they were operating against simply because they're anti-Semitic? Anyway, ultimately, this and what Israel is doing as a belligerent occupier, even from an international human rights perspective, is illegal. It's unjustifiable. It is a war crime. It is an act of terror. If your goal is to achieve political aims by terrorizing and hurting genuinely with intention a civilian population, you are engaging in an act of terror, which is precisely the reason why October 7's military operations can be considered an act of terror. majority civilian population was the casualties. They were killed. They were slaughtered. Most on camera, as a matter of fact. Did you cover the IDF conscientious objectors yet? No, I'm going to have them on in a little bit, as a matter of fact, alongside Noah Colwyn. 9 weeks ago, the Gaza Strip was bustling home to more than 2 million people. Today, the neighborhoods have been flattened by Israeli airstrikes. 91% of the 2.2 million people living in Gaza have been displaced now. Ironic, considering that Gaza itself is an internal colony. The Gaza Strip is where the 750,000 Palestinians, some of which were relegated to when the Nakba happened. Okay, so they were already displaced, and then they made a life for themselves in that small sliver of land that they were pushed into, and even then, now they are being displaced once again. Video and satellite imagery captured in late November and early December reveals a devastating transformation in much of northern Gaza. The port of Gaza used to be a lifeline for the Gazan fishing industry, with a fish market next to the shore, which, by the way, with severe restrictions, severe limitations. Wastewater was making it incredibly difficult to engage in fishing. That was number one. They never had a working port for like actual commerce, obviously, because they were under blockade by Israel. Israel also controls how far out Gazan fishermen can actually go out into the coastline. 6 miles or sometimes 3 miles. Or even a mile if you are reaching near the Sinai Peninsula border or the Israeli proper border as well. So just think about that. The port of Gaza used to be a lifeline for the Gazan fishing industry. This is from 2021. But now the entire area is wrecked. Satellite imagery shows that the fighting has resulted in heavy damage to almost every corner of Gaza City, far beyond the port area. A UN assessment in early November found at least 6,000 buildings have been damaged, with about a third of them destroyed. Israeli officials vowed to destroy Hamas in the wake of the group's surprise attack on October 7, and have since subjected Gaza to one of the most intense bombing campaigns of the 21st century. They have bombed Gaza in the past 2.5 months, harder than Obama bombed Afghanistan during the fucking... Obama bombed Afghanistan and Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, during the surge. For his entire presidential campaign. Or not campaign, for his entire presidential tenure. Multiple craters can be seen on the pier, and the waterfront restaurants and hotels have been destroyed by airstrikes. This is what it used to look like, as you can see here. See if I can go scroll a little bit more. And this is what it looks like now. This is Ramal. Once one of the most prosperous areas of Gaza. Al-Jundi Al-Majul Park is now covered in tank tracks, and the Palestinian Parliament building has been blown up. You do not blow up the Palestinian Parliament building if you are interested in anything but a permanent occupation, for the record. That's not, you don't do that. More than 150 destroyed buildings in this area. The vehicle tracks can be spotted here. Large craters can be spotted here as well. Here. Destroyed buildings all around. Craters and destroyed buildings all around. Before the war, Omar Mukhtar Street was one of the main roads through Gaza City, with restaurants, banks, shops on either side of the Al-Jandi Al-Majul Park. Okay?
Damn, this guy's good.